Alright guys, this is Labeled Skater 45, Justin, for anyone that knows me. Got a little project I'm going to do tonight. Figured I'd post up how to do this because I know quite a few people game and they have a lot of these problems where they overheat and like that. This is a nice little trick to help with heat on your Xbox or PlayStation or any other devices, computers like that, if they're in a little enclosed area like this. Gonna make a little cooling fan with a filter to help cut down on dust, which also mess up these devices quite a bit. You're gonna need a standard DC 12 volt adapter. You can use a 9 volt one as well. The fan's just gonna be a little bit slower. Standard computer case fan, nothing out of the ordinary. A slim CD case. Some connectors, or if you want you can of course use solder and heat shrink, but I'm lazy so I'm not going to be doing that. Paper towel, tools, razor, box cutter, drill and some drill bits, and of course a screwdriver probably to put the screws in. And that will be about it. First thing we need to do is get this entertainment center pulled out and obviously cleaned up because it's a mess, but I'm going to get it pulled out and go from there. Alright, so I got the TV entertainment center moved out, so I got some room to work. And as most people know that have put these little cheap things together, most of them have just this cardboard backer on them. They're not thick at all. They usually can actually be torn. That's what we're going to be cutting through. I'm going to be mounting the fan unit right to the back of that. On the back of the entertainment center you want to find an area that's not going to be in the way of cables or anything like that. Preferably to the side over what unit you're trying to cool. I'm going to actually put mine there. What you're going to want to do is hold that up in an area you know it'll be pretty clear, and trace out the blank CD case, as that's going to actually be the filter housing. So go ahead and trace that up real quick. Alright, I added some light here so it makes it a little bit easier to be seen back here. Alright, so I went ahead, got that CD casing traced up right here. As you can see, this little thing is actually warped in. Doesn't really matter, it doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that. Next up, what you're going to do is actually find the center of that, and you're going to trace out the fan size. Be sure to try to get it right in the center. You know, makes it a little bit easier on the filter. So, alright. So got that arrow traced up, and also drilled out the holes for the actual fan unit. Once you have those holes cleared out, you're actually going to want to go ahead and trace on your CD thing where those holes are located, just so you can drill them out now and save confusion later down the road. Again, you want to try to get a pretty center that should fit right inside the little CD area there, which makes it a little bit easier instead of drilling through the thicker plastic. Remember, on drilling these, they are pretty cheap little plastic things. They do shatter. So just go slow with it, start with a smaller bit. You could even use a nail with heat to go through them. But anything you do, just be slow with it and go ahead and drill those holes out on the back of that. Alright. Once you get the holes drilled in the CD case, which I actually used the burning technique because I realized I didn't have my drill bits, and I really don't feel like going down in the car to get them because, again, this is just a lazy project. I want to go ahead and cut out a smaller diameter square than the screws. Doesn't really have to be perfect, just something so airflow can get through. Don't go too close to the holes, as then you might crack little holder for your filter and it would mean having to do it all over again, which I'm too lazy to do that. So just cut that all out and go from there. Do it on both sides, try to match it as close as possible. Alright, got that all finished. The inside, the outside broke a little bit, but that's fine. The outside hole can actually be a little bit larger since that's just the inlet. Don't have to worry about any bolts holding it down like this one. So yeah, that's all done. Now to move on to the fan itself, which I dropped that on the floor. You're gonna get your power, DC power supply, preferably 12 volts. You can use a 9 volt, like I said earlier. You're gonna want to cut off the end of that wire, which I have already done. Wanted to either use a voltmeter, you could even just test it on the fan, positive and negative, find out which is your positive lead and your negative lead. Once you find that out, you can actually take your red wire, which of course is your positive from your fan, and your black wire, which is your negative. Now if you have one of those computer fans with a third wire, the speed control, you can just snip that right out. You're not going to be able to use that. So that wire, just cut it right out, you won't need it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and crimp these together. Now I'm using these snap connects so I can unhook that. If you're going to add a switch to this, now would be the time. Put it someplace where it can easily be gotten to turn it on or off. I'm actually hooking mine up to a surge protector that turns off when the TV turns off, so I really don't have to worry about that. But if you want to add in a switch, this would be the time to do it. Just add it in between your power and your fan itself. Alright, and that is done. One good trick, as you can maybe see there, I actually used different side connectors on each plug. That way you don't mix them up and accidentally plug it in backwards or something like that. It doesn't really cause any damage on this since it just will run backwards, but it makes it a little bit easier if you're using these type of connectors. But now the fan is on and working. So, ready to install it. Alright, now we're back over here. I'm going to go ahead and finish up on the TV stand. I'm going to just go ahead, take your cutter, cut out a square, a little bit smaller than the holes. You're of course going to need them to hold up your fan and your casing. Just eyeball it, doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that. Just a nice little square hole in there. It could even be a round hole if you want to get fancy, but cut that out and it'll be ready for installation. Alright, now we're ready to install it. I'm going to have to go ahead and grab my tripod real quick and go from there. Alright, now for the installation on it, you're going to want to bolt this on the outside with your normal case fan screws and your fan on the inside, of course facing the correct direction. You can use super long bolts and put it all on the outside like this right here. I just didn't have any bolts laying around. I just had some extra case fan screws, so I'm actually going to put on the inside there. Doesn't really bother me either way. Both work just fine for what it's doing. So an easy way to start it is to actually go ahead and just screw in the first one part way. Like that. And then take the fan, around on the inside, and see if you can actually get it to plug up. Alright, all bolted up. Went ahead and ran the wiring right through over here, along with everything else. Now I can go ahead and plug that back into the connectors. And give it a test fire. And there we go. Fan is spinning. Quite a bit of little air through there. Very nice. So now, I can actually just take our paper towel, you can also use AC filter material, fish tank cleaning stuff, just about anything that will help cut down on the dust will help. So just close that right in between the fan and the hole. Clip it closed. And then fire back up. And there you go. Nice filtered airflow. Help keep your electronic devices cool and dust free. Alright, hope that helped. Later.